Of the agenda is administrative reports. Item number 16 is a report by the Development Department dated April 3rd, 2025 regarding Tsawwassen Town Center Mall application consultation program results.
Yes, and I have an amendment to the recommendations. I'll read the recommendation, Madam Clerk. The amendment, please. The amendment that I'm recommending is recommendation C, that the application be referred back to the applicant to work with staff on a revised proposal that addresses the community engagement feedback, in particular, the community's concerns regarding building height and related concerns such as traffic, as reflected in the mixed-use high-rise development proposal for Tsawwassen Town Center Mall Site Community Consultation Report, April 2025. Could I have a seconder, please?
Seconded.
Madam Clerk, do you want to hand that out?
So just as a point of order, I think we need to adopt a motion on the recommendations on the floor before we have an amendment tabled.
Madam Clerk, we discussed this. Could you go, please advise?
Certainly, if Mayor Harvey wishes to move an amendment to the recommended motion by adding item C, that would be in order.
Thank you. I'd just like to make comments.
Mayor, we don't have a motion on the floor currently. You can't amend a motion that's not on the floor.
Your worship, if you wish to move the first two, A and B, and add item C and have a seconder,
We've
then
had
the motion's on the floor.
We've had a seconder, and
Mayor?
Council's requesting that it be verbalized, your worship.
Yeah. Mayor Harvey, if I may, I'd like to move for separation on the recommendations.
We haven't moved it yet, so I am moving the amendment to the recommendation, to the recommendations.
I'll second it.
It has been seconded. Yes, please.
Your worship, if I might, you are moving A, that the results of the consultation program for the Tsawwassen Town Center Mall application be received. B, that the public consultation program as outlined in the new rezoning application for Tsawwassen Town Center Mall, Century Group Lands Corporation report dated November 26, 2024 be considered. And item C, that the application be referred back to the applicant to work with staff on a revised proposal that addresses the community engagement feedback, in particular, the community's concerns regarding building height and related concerns such as traffic, as reflected in the mixed-use high-rise development proposal for Tsawwassen Town Center Mall Site Community Consultation Report, April 2025.
Could I have a seconder, please?
Seconded.
Madam Clerk, the next process, just to make sure we're following it properly.
Certainly, worship. The item is on the floor, so you may proceed with discussion.
Thank you. In 2024, Sean Hodgins met informally with council members to advise that he was preparing to submit an application to redevelop his town center mall property. Recognizing the success of their award-winning Southlands project, I expressed my enthusiasm about the opportunity to provide modern space for commercial businesses and additional much-needed housing. I had hoped that the redevelopment would contribute positively to the Tsawwassen community. Once the application was approved by council for staff to commence working on, I attended every public information meeting, listened to residents' concerns, responded myself to hundreds of emails. When requested, met with community groups. Rather than leaving South Delta's public engagement meeting through the back door as recommended by staff at the meeting in South Delta, I left through the front door and listened to the concerns of Delta residents who were protesting. I also agreed to meet with them to give them the opportunity to express their concerns. I, along with other council members, were anxiously awaiting the engagement report, but was shocked to see Councillor Boisvert's announcement in last Thursday's Delta Optimist. As mayor, I also have a responsibility to ensure council is aware and following the process approved by our city manager for development applications. Prior to council attending the public consultation meetings, the city manager held a workshop with council and a very renowned legal person with regards to municipal affairs. We received legal advice regarding keeping an open mind on development applications with community members. The strong recommendation was not to state how you would be voting until after the engagement process is completed and a report is before council for consideration of approval. My personal notes on the meeting recorded the following advice. Courts have found councils have a great deal of latitude in their decision-making as long as they follow the process. Last Wednesday, I attended a social for donors to our Delta Hospital. When leaving, I was stopped by Sean Hodgins, who was agitated, stated he wanted to work together to make the redevelopment of the Tsawwassen Town Centre Mall a success, as we did for Southlands together. My response was that I cannot talk about the application until the council meeting on April 14th. I was shocked to see in the following morning edition of the Delta Optimist a story on Councillor Boisvert's announcement that he would be requesting council deny the Tsawwassen Town Centre application. Was this the reason Sean Hodgins approached me? I phoned Sean Hodgins and was told that Councillor Boisvert had discussed his intention to request council support for the denial of the application prior to the publishing of the article. Is this following the approved process? How many other councillors were involved or were in support of the discussion? What reasons were given to the applicant for asking for denial? Why was a member of council discussing this directly with the applicant? I know myself, Councillor Guichon and Councillor Desange were never advised or just on this matter. This is not being transparent to our citizens. It is not acting as a council. I leave it to the city manager to follow through on this breach of process and report back to a regular meeting of council. With regards to the amendment before council, that is this recommendation C, I do not support having council passing a motion to withdraw the Century Group's application without following the city manager's approved process in providing Sean Hodgins an opportunity to review the feedback received and, should he choose, revise the application and resubmit for consideration. I look for other comments from council.
Well, I guess I got to go first. Sorry if I upset you, Mayor Harvey. In my release, I certainly didn't express that I was going to vote against anything. So I'm not sure where you're getting that from, but I guess it's your interpretation of things. Regardless, I have some notes here that I wanted to discuss regarding this report. First of all, I'd like to thank the applicant for bringing forward the project. I think it is a great project. It has a lot of benefits for the community in it, provides a lot of benefits to our business community, provides a lot of much needed housing, and provides some really amazing benefits. I want to thank the citizens for coming out, certainly to the two engagement meetings that we had in Tsawwassen, which I attended, for coming out to City Hall when we had an open house, for interacting with our staff through all the various means that our staff provided in terms of input, for sending me hundreds of emails, many phone calls, and probably 200 visits to my own office in Tsawwassen to have discussions. It's very helpful. The engagement report certainly outlines concerns that the citizens have in terms of the project, and also shed some light on the aspects of the project that citizens really liked, such as the proposal for the library. I think at the end of the day, in my in my release, what I was trying to get across was that I think it's going to be difficult for this project to make it through council as it is, and that I was encouraging the applicant to make modifications to the application. I think at the end of the day, when I think about this project, it is a large undertaking in the community of Tsawwassen, and I think that when you're dealing with large projects such as this, or large changes, whether they're real or perceived, in a community, that the best way to get to the right project is that the different sides need to be heard and they need to compromise. I think that the applicant needs some compromise based on the feedback that's been received. And I also think that the public probably needs to compromise a little bit on what they want. I don't think that it's in the best interests of the community that nothing be done. I don't think it's in the best interests that it just stay the way that it is. I think there's a wonderful opportunity to create something, a development that's beneficial, not just to the existing community, but also to the people that eventually will call that their home. We need housing, and the type of housing that this project is going to provide, if it's approved, is exactly the type of housing that we do need. So that's my hope. My hope is that this is not the end of the road, that it's the middle of the road, and that we get to a good place, for all of us. That's really all I wanted to say.
Other council members? Councillor Kruger, please.
Thank you. I'm quite shocked by the comments I heard earlier, and I'm not going to dwell on it other than to say I think those were very erratic and inappropriate comments from the mayor. I think the mayor should apologize for those comments to Councillor Boisvert. And
I will not be apologizing. Those are my comments.
I want to take the opportunity to say that Councillor Boisvert has demonstrated decades of commitment to this community, outstanding volunteerism. I think he has demonstrated great integrity time and time again, both in his role on council and as an advocate in our community. And I commend him for doing the right thing and listening to the people of Tsawwassen who came out in record numbers to express their concerns about the heights on this project. And I don't think he should apologize for listening to the people. We're here at this table as councillors, as representatives of the people of our community. This is not about any individual member of council or anybody's grand political re-election plans. This is about doing the right thing for the community, and that's what I'm here to do. On to the project itself.
And Councillor Kruger, it is about the process. The process.
Well, I'm getting to the process. I'll get to the process. I want to take the opportunity also to thank members of the community from Tsawwassen and across Delta for participating in this process. I also want to commend our staff. This was, a truly Herculean effort with multiple in-person open houses, council open houses hosted both here and at City Hall, as well as an online information session. Notification letters sent to every single residence in Tsawwassen, an unprecedented amount of engagement in our community. And by and large, I think that engagement was very successful insofar that it informed members of the public of the application, solicited feedback, and very succinctly summarized that feedback in the report that I've read that's in our agenda package today. A couple common themes that I think came out of the consultation and that I've seen reflected in the report, which reflect my own experiences. There's a lot of people who really believe that one day the town center mall needs to be redeveloped. They fundamentally believe that a giant parking lot on the corner of 56th and 12th does not add to our community's character. In fact, it detracts from it. And we have an opportunity to build a walkable, pedestrian-oriented town center that supports our small business community, that, yes, has some housing on top of it. 95% of people that I spoke to agreed with those statements, which was encouraging that there was some common ground. This is not a community that is opposed to development. This is not a community that's opposed to developing the town center mall. What I did hear pretty consistently identified, again, by about 90% of people, 89% of people, according to the survey, was concerns about the heights of the four towers. Again, we have an obligation, I think, to take feedback very seriously when it is in such high number and in such consensus. So it is my hope that the developer, and by the way, I want to thank Century Group. I know Century Group is here today. They are an outstanding developer. They've done fantastic work in our region. I think Southlands is one of the jewels of Metro Vancouver. It's an award-winning development. I'm quite happy with the Southlands product, and I've got a tremendous amount of faith in the work that Century Group has done. And so I know that Century Group is here and that they're listening, and I hope Century Group works with our staff to bring forward an application that is reflective of the comments that were reflected in this engagement report. So with that, in terms of process, I'd like to move an amendment to recommendation C. Recommendation C says that the application be referred back to the applicant. There's no application to refer back on table today. The only item that we are dealing with is the consultation engagement summary report. So the appropriate wording for this motion should be not that the application be referred back, but that the applicant be encouraged to work with staff, and then the rest can stay, that the applicant be encouraged to work with staff on a revised proposal that addresses the community engagement feedback, in particular the community's concerns regarding building height and related concerns such as traffic, as reflected in the mixed-use high-rise development proposal for Tsawwassen Town Center Mall Site Community Consultation Report, April 2025. So I would so move that amendment to the motion.
Thank you. Could you just do the beginning, because it looks like it's exactly the same.
So no, I'm deleting the words that again, there seems to be concern about process. There is nothing to refer back. So I'm deleting the words application be referred back to the applicant and replacing them with the words applicant be encouraged, so that the motion reads that the applicant be encouraged to work with staff. That would be appropriate in terms of process.
Thank you. Mr. Van Dyke, could I ask for your guidance as one who asked council to follow the process that you had recommended?
Your worship, would it be okay if we put on the screen, just so that we all can see the exact motion and the proposed amendment to that motion? Would that be okay right now, your
Yes.
worship? Perfect. Our staff have that capability here. So just give us one moment.
My concern, Mr. Van Dyke, was the article in the paper said that he'd be moving, correct me if I'm wrong, Councillor Boisvert, he'd be moving to deny the application, which would mean all the good work, if that was approved by council, that all the good work that the community thought was, really good, that the applicant would then have to start all over again, versus the process that we're at now is referring back the report to Century Group, just and ask them to review the comments and then report, and then if they want to, report back to council. Mr. Van Dyke?
That's not what I said, but
Could you just repeat what you had said then?
I didn't say anything that I was going to vote to deny.
Point of order, Mayor. Councillor Boisvert is not on trial today, and I think this entire thing is out of order.
That's your opinion. Mr. Van Dyke, could you continue, please?
Thank you, your worship. So I think both motions are attempting to communicate to the applicant that they are encouraged to work with staff on a revised proposal that addresses the community engagement. Councillor Kruger is correct that the application isn't to be referred back. It's currently sitting with staff awaiting revisions or in fact the ability to go forward. So I think the amendment is probably clearer and cleaner. So that would be my best advice in terms of making a clean motion or clearer motion, although I would say that it started in good shape. This would probably improve it, if I understand the will of council.
Thank you. And I would support that amendment because my concern is that the Accenture Group has that opportunity. Any further discussion? Councillor Johal.
Thank you. I just want to start by thanking the staff for the thorough engagement process over the past month or so regarding the TTC project. Your efforts in engaging the community and commitment to listening to feedback, both positive and negative, have not gone unnoticed and are really appreciated. I also want to acknowledge the public for taking the time to participate and sharing both their concerns and support for this project. It's equally important to recognize the developer and their team. The willingness to participate openly, honestly, and respectfully matters. The report speaks for itself. I won't dwell further on that. However, I do want to make a couple of points. I do encourage the developer to take note of the concerns raised in this engagement report and consider a revised proposal. Personally, I feel Century is the right company, the right development firm to lead the revitalization of the heart of Tsawwassen. Their development plan is thoughtful and community-oriented. This proposal has many strong elements that were first introduced, much needed housing, a community hub, potential space for a library, a rental housing component, etc. With regards to your comments, Mayor Harvey, I can't help but be empathetic towards the situation here for Mr. Hodgkins to be agitated, considering that we all sat, you, myself, Councillor Kruger, and former staff, city manager and current staff, sat in an economic development meeting, and the words that came out of your mouth were, "It needs to be higher." So, you know, listen, it's a tough world in which we live, and transparency is extremely important. I get that. But my dad always says when you have one finger pointing forward, you got a few others that are pointing back. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Councillor Guichon.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Harvey. I was just prepared to speak today on the great job staff have done in putting together the package that we have before us, summary of feedback and consultation that was done for this project. Not to repeat, but it is 22 pages and it's available to the public, and it was really a lot of great information in there. It was a huge community engagement, huge turnouts. I know a lot of us were at the information sessions, the open houses, countless emails, and thank you to staff for your energy and effort on that. And it's been a huge undertaking, no doubt, to even get to this point. So I really want to thank staff for getting us here. And just a note too, I think this was mentioned, but as far as people, how they learned about the proposal, my two significant ways were, mail out and newspaper articles and word of mouth within the community. And I just want to really emphasize that, you know, we live in an online world, but I don't want to see those ways of contacting the public ever be forgotten, that we should continue with mail outs and newspaper articles. And it's very powerful to hear from your neighbors. So I appreciate all the community members that came out, spoke to me, had a lot of respectful conversations. And I don't think, segueing a little bit, I don't think we can turn a blind eye to the results. I think there was about 73% opposed to the project in this current format, or 73% opposed to some of the densities and heights. And I think that's very, very significant. But this is why we do community feedback and information and engagement. This is powerful to hear. It's very powerful for me to hear from residents, and I'm listening and I'm reading to them. And, you know, wherever this progresses, I'm still going to be listening. And I think we will get a project, you know, that really fits our community best when we have that feedback. So, and I think we should do this with a lot of our large scale projects. I mean, we can't get it right every time the first time. I think we should, you know, work with information, work with community, and hear that, and hopefully get a great project that fits with the unique aspect of our community. And this is a massive project. And we can't afford to get it wrong. And I think revisions based on feedback and community comment will strengthen the outcome. And we've heard a lot from residents, and I think I know we've had a few very large projects when I've been on council, but this is by far the most engagement, and I'm appreciative of that. And just a note to Century Group and the team, I know that they take pride in how they build and what they build, and that is important to me to capture that unique spirit of Tsawwassen. So there's no doubt that I think we can get there, and I appreciate where we've gone, and there's lots of great aspects, but just note the community concerns at this time. So I support that.
Thank you. Councillor Dosanjh.
Thank you, Mayor Harvey. First of all, thanks to our city staff for the work they have done about the project to share the information with the Delta residents and collecting their feedback and concerns on this project. Also would like to say thank you to our community members for your engagement and sharing your thoughts and concerns by meeting us in person, by emails, and through the social media. Much appreciated. Everyone agrees that there is a need for additional mixed and diverse housing in the Delta. There was a lot of expectation from this project that it would bring about a major benefit to the local community. However, like Councillor Alicia and Gishan said, 73% of the residents who provided feedback engaged with the staff and council members in information sessions, sent email, held a demonstration, made it absolutely clear that they have serious concerns on the issues of height, density, magnitude of a project, and a traffic nightmare. That would be a result. It is my opinion that it would be huge mistake to ignore the public opinion and the legitimate concerns of the public. Hence, I would prefer the applicant be provided the finding of the public consultations, and if they wish to bring back a revised proposal, it should take into consideration and address the public concerns highlighted clearly. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Binder.
Thank you. Guess I'm batting cleanup here. My comments are directly connected to the engagement process, as that is the report that is in front of us. I do want to begin by saying my deep thanks as well to Century Group for actually bringing this forward. If it wasn't for the tremendous history of this developer, multi-generation dedication to our community, and the care and quality of product that has been demonstrated, not by word, but by action in our community, we wouldn't be having this conversation today. I would suggest that some developers who own property are probably not as engaged, and they may just be coming in and doing what they're going to do and then move on. And that is not the case with Century. Century was present at every one of the engagement events, and as been noted, members of council. And yes, we had a lot of conversations, and I'm glad we did. I'm really, really glad we did. I won't say all the conversations were pleasant, but that doesn't matter, because that's what it takes to actually get things right, is that you have to have the conversations. The ones that were respectful, the ones that had genuine questions, were the ones I enjoyed the most, because I could take the questions and get answers. The ones that had strong opinion, I heard that as well, although I didn't really know what to do with it other than respect the passion around it. I think the engagement was excellent. I think our staff did an extraordinary job, has been mentioned numerous times here. The commitment of time, the collection of data, the responding to the emails, and I think was very, very good. There were many aspects of this proposal. There are many aspects of this proposal that's in front of us today that are also good, and I hope they're not lost. And as the word compromise was mentioned, I hope that between the developer and our community, that we will seek that compromise. The 23-year, as I understand, public engagement process for the Southlands, I don't want to repeat that history. But compromise is going to be the word of the day. Things to progress are going to need compromise, but we also want to be cautious to do it right. And again, the strongest words were concerns with height. And I'm sure that's been heard loud and clear. And it was certainly going to be my comment as well, how I just do not see a path forward on this particular proposal, and that I'm going to allow the applicant to take these thoughts and perhaps come back to us with something else. Regards to some of the other comments that were made at this council table today, I must say I'm a little bit shocked because I was focused on an engagement process or an engagement report and the results of that report. And that's where my focus is today. And some of the other things I found to be, frankly, a little bit surprising, a little bit out of order. But yeah, I'll leave it at that, that the engagement report that's in front of us is excellent. And but I do think that we need to take it seriously and look at another option. Mayor Harvey, with regards to your bringing forward the amendment and what I'm seeing on the screen, I think that's making sense.
Thank you. And could we have a seconder for the change to the recommendation, the amendment from Councillor Kruger? We need a seconder, that's all. Thank you. Any further discussion? We do have division, so we'll take A, B, and C separately. On recommendation A.
Mayor, are we going to vote on the amendment to the amendment?
It's been seconded. Okay, thank you. And I'll call the question on the amendment. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. Madam Clerk, we're going back to each individual recommendation now. Thank you. So on recommendation A, any concerns? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Recommendation B. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed and carried. And on recommendation C. Any further discussion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? And carried. I would just like to add a comment. Also, thank you, staff, and thank you to Century Groups. Our history here in Delta has shown that these projects usually don't, need some refinement and need some changes and further discussion. This happened with Sunstone, which is a beautiful development just down the street. It was turned back for review and reassessment and revisions. Southlands, of course, so we went through that and worked very hard to bring it to the gem that it is now, thanks to Mr. Hodgins and Century Group. And of course, Tsawwassen Springs, which is also a gem of a community amenity for us. But I look forward to having staff work directly. And Mr. Van Dyke, is there anything else you'd like to comment?
Just, Your Worship, that staff will be following up with the applicant shortly with the feedback from council, as well as, of course, this engagement report, which they've received on, I believe it's Thursday. So we'll be following up.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please.